So first step, like I said, I'm just going to lay out all the pieces and then work from there. Really, really important piece, your nuts and bolts. So you'll see everything comes packed together, which is why I was mentioning it's a good time to lay it out. You do have things in little bags, so it does make your life a bit easier. Okay, so next step, you want to grab 12 of these locking pins and the screwdriver. So you're going to put the locking pins into the sides of the drawer frame. Honestly, what I do is I just start screwing them by hand into all the different spots. So you'll see the ones that have metal thread inserts, they're the ones you're going to want to do it into. So each drawer is going to take 6. You want to go as tight as you can by hand, and then you'll finish it off with the screwdriver. So with the screwdriver, really important here, you don't want to go ridiculously tight. You definitely don't want to be using power tools. So moving on to step 2 now. So you're going to get into your 3 panels, which are over there. This does get a bit confusing because they do all look the same. I'll quickly explain to you how to identify which is which. And you're going to put these 3 support panels onto one side of the frame. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put the other side on top of it, and you're going to start getting the carcass off it. You got your 3 panels, the one without any inserts. So when I say inserts, I mean something like that. You can see this one has none, is going to be the bottom support bar. So it'll be going where there's 2 holes here, and it'll be going on the bottom. So if you see the chest drawer, it's got the one with 2 screws here that you put in before. The one with only 2 is where the one with no inserts goes. So you're going to be left with 2 more. These 2, a little bit trickier. There's going to be one which has 2 cutouts on either side. There's going to be one that has 1 cutout. Take the one that only has 1 cutout, and that's going to go on the lower side. So when I say lower side, it's the one that is closer to the legs. I personally like to have the cam locks, so these holes, on the back of the chest, so facing out. So this would be facing in, you can't see them. Facing out would be like that. It just means if I ever need to tighten them, I can just do it from the back of the chest. So I want the cutout facing towards the top of the chest. So where there's no cutout would be facing the leg. And I just put that on there. It's not going to break. You can see I put it on gently. The final piece, like I said, I just want the 2 holes to be facing up. It doesn't really matter which way it goes because it's got a cutout on both sides. What you'll want to do now is you want to grab 6 cam locks, and I'll show you how to put these in. Yeah, so with the cam locks, you'll see they have a little up arrow on them. You're just pointing that towards the locking pin. So you can see here, you've got the locking pin head. I'll just put this in spot. The up arrow goes in, press it in, get another one. Same thing. I get the up arrow, I point it there, get your screwdriver, and then just lock it into place. You will feel this one catch. I'm going to do the same for those 2 now as well. Okay, so you've kind of got the 3 pieces up now. What we're going to do is we're going to take one of the side pieces and slide it in. So it's not too confusing. You've got the big pieces, which are the drawer bottoms. There's 3 of them. And you've got the 2 smaller pieces, which are for the chest back. There's only 2 of them. Take one, they're identical. And you're going to literally slide it in here. It might take some wiggling to get it in right here, but it will fit, and it just slots in. So the next bit's a little bit trickier. So you've got one frame, you've got kind of half the chest built. We're going to put the next half on, and this is where a second person comes in really handy. I am going to do it by myself, but I would highly recommend someone else. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take that frame, and I'm going to put it on its back, so then I can put the other side onto it. Again, I'm fortunate enough that I've got the room, so I'll slide this one straight across. Be really careful when you do this. You'll want the other person supporting these frames, and just as they tilt. And you'll want your second person supporting this, just so it's not taking too much of the weight. I'm going to grab the second half of the frame, and I'm just going to slot it in to the holes that are relevant. I'm just going to line up these holes with the locking pins that I put in earlier, and just slot that in. And then there's some down here at the bottom. So I've got that in place now. What you're going to want to grab is, I forgot mine, but if you can get my screwdriver. Thank you. And you're just going to put the 2 cam locks in to lock it in from the bottom here. So with the cam locks, you can go a bit tighter. You do want them to catch quite tightly. So now I've got that bottom support beam in. It's going to be a bit more structurally sound. I still want to be careful. What I'm going to do is I'm going to now take the chest and I'm going to tip it upright so I can secure these two in here. When I'm lifting it up, I am kind of putting a bit of pressure just so this doesn't all fall apart, but nothing too crazy. I'm going to grab 4 more cam locks and I'm just going to secure them in from the back. To be honest, the cam locks are probably one of the most satisfying ones because you can feel them grab. Done. So that's now all secured. So what you're going to do now is get the other short piece. With this one, it does have a warning label on it. You want this facing out. Have a read of the warning label. It just explains the best practices to using the chest. Ensure the safety of your child and anyone using the chest. Really easy, this one. Literally just slides in. Guys, just noticed here, like there might be some wood chippings. It's nothing. It's just you can't get it perfect with the machine. Just clean it out. If you do have any defects though, obviously reach out. Done. Okay, so next bit we're getting to, we're actually going to put the chest top on now. What you're going to do is you're literally going to pick up the chest top, line it up and put it on. Perfect. Press it. Team high five. You'll actually find this isn't too heavy. It is because it's all timber. Pretty straightforward. You're going to have a slot running along here. That's going to line up with the back of the chest and you're going to line that in. You've got 4 holes. Sorry, you've got 8 holes. You've got ones with metal inserts, which in this one have been painted green, and you've got something with none in them. The ones without anything in them is where the wooden dowels go. I'll show you with a close-up. I want the slot to go lined up with this, and I want the wooden dowels to be sitting in here. It is a bit easier if you do go down level with it, and you can see there. So I've got one side lined up, so with the wooden dowels, and then on this side I'm just going to wiggle it so it lines up as well on the wooden dowel holes. Done. And then all you'll need is a bit of pressure. So it might just need a bit of wiggling to get them into spot. And that's now sitting. And all you'll need is just a bit of a hit. And it'll just kind of drop into spot. There you go. And it's starting to look like a chest of drawers. Next thing you'll need is you'll need these 4 bolts. So there is only 4 of them, really easy to identify. And you're going to need that Allen key we've got. So where it gets a bit trickier, you're going to have to screw these in from underneath. Depending how flexible you are, how good your knees are, makes your life a bit easier. You'll see that there are, underneath here, there's 4 holes. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's where these are going in. I find it a lot easier if you start these by hand. Get them done as much as you can by hand. It does make life a lot easier. So I can see here, there's a bit of a gap. It's just because it hasn't set properly. It just needs a bit of a knock at the back and it'll sit in. So you know that groove I mentioned before? It just isn't sitting. I'm going to go around the back and just give it a bit of pressure. Until it sits in. Also, once all the bolts catch it, we'll pull it into spot as well. So once I've done them all by hand as much as I can, I'm going to get the Allen key provided and I'm just going to finish them off. This is a bit finicky just because of the space. I mean, it's probably easier if you've got smaller hands than me. You will want to get these nice and tight. Again, you're not using a power tool for it, but just get them so they're catching. So let's just go as tight as you can with your fingers. So if you look here, what I'm doing is I'm using my fingers and going as tight as I can. You're not trying to break through the timber here. You're just using it as a secure point. Hey guys, check it out. You've got a chest frame. If you want to stop there, please feel free to and just chuck your stuff in it and happy days. No, the next bit's pretty easy. Like you're just going to start constructing the chest drawers. It's literally the same thing times 3. So I'll take you through it really quickly. I'll take you through it on 1. I'll do that slowly and then we'll kind of speed the video up in the background and then let you do your thing. So come with me. I'll explain how I do it and it pretty much follows the instructions. So you want to grab your locking pins for this. Grab a bunch of them, you're going to be using them all. So the chest fronts are here, the ones laid out. So what I would do is I kind of lay out all the possible pieces I need for the drawers. So I've got my chest fronts. I've got my chest fronts here. These are the handles which we're going to use later. I'll then take the chest back pieces. They're here. The chest bottom pieces, you don't actually need any locking pins in them, so I'll just leave them off to the side. The chest sides as well, you don't need any locking pins. So where you're going to be using the locking pins is here. What I like to do is grab them, and I like to literally just do a run and get them all in there. It just makes kind of my life a bit easier later on. So I'm putting them all in just with my hand. You'll want to use all the remaining locking pins here. Once I've got them all in, screwdriver, and just remembering you don't want to go too tight, just a sensible amount. Like, I'm not trying to rip them through. I just don't want them to be falling out anytime soon. Next thing that we're going to do is we're going to be putting on the side pieces onto the back. So you'll notice that I haven't exactly followed the instructions. Again, I'm doing the same thing. I'm just putting all the locking pins in at once. And then I'm going to put the sides onto the back pieces, which is what you're going to see now. So you're taking these self-tapping screws. They're the bigger ones. There's another set of 4. You'll want the one with more in it. And you want 4 for each drawer. What you'll want to be doing here is you'll be wanting to grab a left and right. So you can see this is the left, this is the right. Grab a back piece of the drawer. You'll be putting that flat. You grab one of the pieces. So really important here is you want the groove to line up with this back piece. So the runner will be on the outside. What I'm then going to do is I am going to get my screwdriver, and I'm going to be using these self-tapping screws to screw this into the side here. So they have been pre-drilled. You can see there's a hole here. So they will line up. So I put them through the hole, line it up here, and then it's just a matter of getting your screwdriver and working them in. Don't go all the way on the first one, just so you can line up that second one. You'll want to go quite tight here and make sure they're all the way in. Once that's done, you want to get the other piece. And that's on. Yes, it is. There's the other piece. Like I said, making sure the runner sits on the outside. Another way to check is making sure the groove sits on the inside. Lining that up, getting 2 more self-tappings, and just line them up with the pre-drilled holes. You're going to take one of these little pieces, the ones with the holes in it. Really important, which I made the mistake before, you want the holes facing down on the drawer. So yeah, get this one, make sure the holes are facing down. You can put it up on its side now, put them in here, just screw them so they're catching. What you'll then want to do is you'll want to grab those big panels that I mentioned before. You're going to have 3 of them, grab one of them and you're going to slot it in. You've got a warning label on it, make sure the warning is facing up. And you're just going to slot this into the groove that's here on the drawers. What you'll want to do now is grab the front chest piece. I've already put the locking pins in, and I'm just going to line it up and put it down and then secure everything with the locking pins. So just make sure you get one side right first, locking pins in, line it up for the middle, and then you can kind of play with the last one. It might need a bit of a push just because of the dowels, but then it'll all click into place. So final thing you're doing now is just securing it all. So get your 2 locking pins for the bottom, screw them in, and then you're going to have the locking pins on the 2 sides. Final step is you're going to get your handle, and I'm just going to screw that on. Really important with the handle for the Pisa especially, the bar where your fingers goes points down. You don't want to be pointing up. It just makes it a bit awkward to grab. It just takes 3 screws, line it up. Again, wherever you can, do as much possible by fingers, and then just finish it off with the provided screwdriver. So guys, there is your first drawer complete. I'm going to put this one off to the side. I'm going to knock out the other 2, and then we'll go straight into putting them in. Okay. Thank you for all that stayed during that assembly video. No one that skipped ahead. Now this bit's the fun bit. It's probably the most tricky bit of it all. This one I definitely recommend with 2 people. I'm going to show you how to do it with 1, but definitely, unless you cannot find another person, use 2 people for this. So what you'll want to do here is you'll want to set up the chest runners before you start putting things in. So if you come close here, you'll see that the chest runner has these metal runners. Just make sure you're pulling them all to the front. So if I look at this one at the top, you literally can just drag it to the front like that. Keeps it in. This one's good, this one's good, this one's good. This one here, pull to the front. And now I've got all 3 sides pulled to the front. What I'm going to do is the first one I'm going to put in is the bottom one. I'm going to grab this runner, I'm going to slide it out ever so slightly. It's just going to give me a bit of time to line it up. I'm going to grab the drawer I had. You'll see you've got your runners here. And I'm going to line these runners up with chest runners. So what you're looking to do is, you can see there's 2 grooves here. They will slot into these 2 slots there. So what I'll do is I will aim to get one side in right, like that. And then I'll start working on the other side. No, that's fine. Done. So I've got it there. So that's why it's really good to have 2 people. One person works on one side, the other person on the other. And then all I'm doing is I'm just pushing the chest in. So it might need a bit of wiggle. See that? You'll hear it click. I'm just moving it in and out. You'll get to a point of resistance. It just needs a bit of force on it. I'm just going back and forth. And then you get to the last bit and see how it's not closing completely? That's just to get the soft runner to close. I'm just putting a bit of force on it. And getting it shut. So what you've done there is you've installed your first chest. Happy days, look at me go. I've got 2 more that I'm going to put in, so I'm going to do the same thing. Pulling this one out, pulling this one out, grabbing my second drawer. This one becomes a bit harder because you can't rest it on the floor. Again, I'm lining in one side. I'm going to start working on the other. Done. And again, it's going to feel really flimsy and wobbly at the start. It's just because it hasn't caught. You'll start hearing it catching. Gets to the last point with a soft close, and it does need one big push. And it works. Don't be a bit afraid to put a bit of pressure on it. It is just so that soft close engages. Final draw, and you're done. So probably the hardest one, just because you've got the least amount of height to work with. Again, I'm lining it into the slot, coming to the other side, doing the same thing. And then I'm going to let you listen to this one. Happy days. You've got a chest of drawers. Last thing, guys, we obviously can't do it because we're in a studio. You've got your wall straps, critical with Australian furniture, well, any furniture. You'll want to be securing this to a wall. So you've got these self-securing straps. Sorry, you've got these straps which you can secure to your wall. This one depends on your house and the build. So if you've got gyprock, if you've got drywall, if you've got render, again, we can't really help with that. But just make sure you're mounting the frame to the wall. Also, when you're using the chest of drawers, make sure you're only opening one chest of drawers at a time. You just don't want to risk it toppling over.